Hello everybody, it's me Ryan here, MandRproductions, and welcome to Ask MandRproductions Episode 20. We've made it 20 episodes, guys. This has been amazing. If you enjoy, leave a like. If you guys have a question that you want answered on next week's Ask MandRproductions, leave in the comments section below. Stop the music. And without further ado, let's get started. Our first question this week comes from MandRproductions. He says, does Coca-Cola sponsor you? Just wondering, because you always do close-up shots of you drinking Coke. No, Coca-Cola does not sponsor me. I just really like the drink. Same idea as Lego not sponsoring me. I just really like the product. Next question from Engineer121. He says, what do you think about Mega Constructs and do you like the minifigures? I don't really like Mega Constructs. I'm honestly like a Lego purist. I like dabbling in the fake stuff just to kind of see what it's about and what it like. I know Mega Constructs isn't fake in the traditional sense that Lepin is fake Lego, but it's a knockoff brand. It's a secondary brand to Lego, obviously, and I think it's a little bit weird. Some of the plastic quality's been a little bit weird over the years. I've had a couple sets, and my brother's had a couple sets that I've been able to like toy with, but compared to Lego, it's obviously nothing close to it, in my opinion. I think the figures are kind of cool in that you get a lot more detail with them, a lot more accuracy to the actual person, but I think that's part of the charm of Lego, and that's that the Lego minifigure can be anything all in the same form. Extreme Banter Boy says, what is your least favorite Lego set that you bought and was the biggest waste of money? So the biggest waste of money for a Lego set is probably the First Order ATST or the General Grievous Speeder. They're both equally bad and overpriced in their own right. The First Order ATST I think was a terrible selection for a set. That's why I feel like I wasted $40. I don't think it looks cool on the shelf or anything. Like, it doesn't have anything that makes it a cool set to me. It's not even, like, I feel like I can't even play with it. It's not that cool. And then the General Grievous Speeder, as far as being a big waste of money, is totally true. It's like twice as much as it should cost. It's so oversized compared to what it is in universe that I feel like it's just so out of scale just to try and hit that $30 price point, but it doesn't even come close to feeling like it's worth $30. Both those sets are just completely overpriced and I feel like complete waste of money. Hobo Joe 2016 says, what is the worst Lego set that had the most potential and vice versa? So when the rumor came out before we had pictures, I'm assuming you're asking what set was I like very excited for and then disappointed by? I think I'm going to have to go with the First Order ATST. That was a rumor for about a month before we actually saw a picture of it, and I was assuming it was going to be an ATST, and I was sorely mistaken when we found out that it was just the bottom half of an ATST. As far as the set that was rumored and I thought wasn't going to be good and then turned out to be a pleasant surprise, this is going to be an odd choice, but I would say the Resistance X-Wing from 2016. We had already gotten Poe's X-Wing in 2015, so we already kind of had the exact same design, and so we assumed it would be the same design, so I was ready to be disappointed. However, the different coloration on it looks amazing. I really like the Resistance X-Wing from 2016, and I still really like Poe's X-Wing, but it was just a pleasant surprise, even though it's literally exactly the same design, barring a few, changed around parts, and obviously the color change. It's still an amazing set. William Morrison says, what things would you not like to see in the Cloud City UCS set? Now, this is a tough question to answer, because it's really easy to come up with a bunch of things that I would like to see. However, things that I wouldn't, like I could say I wouldn't not like to see something, meaning I would like to see it, which is hard. But I think something I wouldn't like to see is just kind of what they did with UCS Hoth. I hope it's not an over-glorified playset. I hope that it has panels. I hope that it's something great. I hope that they don't do what they did with UCS Hoth and just make it a conglomeration of all the previous sets that they've had about that particular scene in the movie. Nathan Kirk says, do you think a Lego Star Wars minifigure series could work, and could you have exclusive outfits or something to make it worthwhile? Obviously, the answer is yes. A Lego Star Wars collectible minifigure series would sell so well. It would probably be the best-selling Lego minifigure series ever, honestly, in my opinion. I would think, just because it has Star Wars on it. And the problem with that is that Lego does not have the ability to sell Lego minifigures separately like that. So they can't go out and make a Lego minifigure series because Hasbro owns the right to make action figures, and Lego minifigures are considered action figures because I don't know why, but they just are, and so Lego can't do that, unfortunately. It's just not going to happen until that is resolved or changed, and maybe it just never will get changed or resolved, and it will never happen. But as of now, there will be no Lego Star Wars collectible minifigure series, guys. So Hub Production says, where is your Lego parts collection, and how do you sort/store it? By color, by part, etc. I actually store a lot of my Lego parts just kind of messed around, like they all get kind of mixed in. However, I'll show you on screen now, I do have some very nicely organized parts as well. I try to keep them organized, but there are some bins that aren't, and there are some bins that are. But for the most part, I try to separate by color and then part type. So if it's not separated by part type, it's at least separated by color, and then it dissolves down into part type if I can. So for the most part, it's either in a jumbled mess or it's all very nicely organized. Injustice 2 says, what is the oldest set you have? Not your first one, but your oldest one. This is the oldest Lego set that I own. It's the Space Shuttle. It actually came as part of like a full Space Shuttle set that I'll show you on screen now, and I really like this set. I really liked the whole set. I wish I hadn't had it broken down at some point like 10 years ago. I accidentally broke it and I never fixed it, but I would love to buy this set again at some point. I think it would be a really cool set for me to have like as a full thing, but I think this is from like 1995, and it's like the oldest thing that I own Lego-wise. Obviously, I didn't really get into... I just broke it. Obviously, I didn't get into Lego until about 2002 when I got the Bespin Twin Pod Cloud Car set. That was like my first set. Obviously, that wasn't your question, though. Your question was, what was the oldest set I own? And this is your answer. It's a Space Shuttle set with the landing pad. Acula says, is the Leppin shop in your mall still open? Now, as far as I know, it has been closed. Their lease has been terminated. That's thanks to a Lego lawyer or somebody who works at Lego that I was emailing with that, you know, I originally gave some information to about the store when I first found it, because obviously they're selling things that are illegal as far as the United States is concerned, and obviously that should not be allowed. So the mall apparently terminated their lease and they are no longer there. However, next time I go I will double check, but I think they're gone. As far as I know, they are gone. So hopefully we won't see any more fake Lego store videos on my channel, but hey, who knows. Paula Mead says, have you ever seen snow? And quick answer to that is yes, I have seen snow. I'll put up a picture of me with some snow here, I guess. But yeah, snow is really fun. Obviously, I live in Florida, so that's a reasonable question to ask. Have I ever seen snow? And yes, I've seen it. I played with it. I've had fresh snow, fake snow at some ski places. So skiing is fun. I'm not very good at it. I've only done it like maybe 5 times. And whenever I go up to Massachusetts, I see snow in the winter time if we go up during winter. So it's always fun. I love snow. I wish it snowed in Florida, but then again, every time it drops to like 50 degrees, I'm freezing. And then I say, oh my God, guys, it's so cold in my vlog, on my vlog channel, MNR Vlogs, I was like, oh my God, it's so cold, it's like 51 degrees outside, and everyone's like, 51 degrees isn't cold, it's like 8 degrees where I live, and I'm like, okay man, chill out, I'm cold man, I live in Florida. Way Too Awesome Lego Guy says, have you ever tried to get the Mr. Gold minifigure? Yes, back when Series 10 was out, there was a Mr. Gold minifigure, guys, as you may know, and he was randomly inserted into bags. I only got a couple Series 10 minifigures in hopes of striking it lucky, and I did not, so I never got the Mr. Gold. I never really searched really hard for him. I'm sure if I did, I could have really probably got one, but I never did find a Mr. Gold, unfortunately, and I probably will never own one. I'm not that interested in him. However, he was a really cool novelty, and I hope they bring something similar back for Series 20. I think it's awesome for Lego to celebrate milestones in that way. It's really cool to have something to search for other than the regular minifigures, which get kind of old and boring after a while, so I love having that extra little spice in there. Death Trooper number 3 says, what Last Jedi set would you like to see that hasn't been made yet? Now, I am working on a Lego Star Wars Last Jedi set idea, so I'll give you a little spoiler here. Obviously, I would really love to see a Snoke's throne room set because I really want that Praetorian Guard. A Praetorian Guard is an amazing looking minifigure, and I think he's going to be really awesome. So I think if we get him in Lego, that would be amazing. Hopefully, we get a Snoke's throne room. That's one set that I would love to see. The Arkham Nerd says, what do you think about a UCS Jabba's Palace? I actually think that's a pretty bad idea. Honestly, I don't think it would work as a Lego set. I don't think it would sell well. I think the $120 Jabba's Palace that we got a few years ago was amazing. I think it's an amazing representation of Jabba's Palace. However, I'll go a little bit more in depth. If they had to make a UCS Jabba's Palace and I was in charge of it, I would include like a full-on Rancor pit underneath. Like it would be an all-in-one, very cool set. It'd have a very detailed exterior. I'd probably throw in like a desert skiff or something, or maybe even throw in Jabba's Palace sail barge and then make it a $500 set, like all-in-one type thing, a Jabba's Palace mega play set. I don't know. I don't think it would sell well. I don't think they'll ever make a UCS Jabba's Palace. I think the closest thing you'll get to that is the 2012 one. So I think that's a really good set still. I think you could still pick that up for a pretty reasonable price and put it on your shelf. And I mean, honestly, it looks pretty close to UCS. It's very nicely detailed on the outside. William Fisher says, do you put all of your Lego on your shelves or do you keep some in other places? For the most part, all of my Lego is on my shelves. As you can tell, I try to keep as much of it there as possible. However, after moving, I've had to kind of put some in boxes, and some boxes, I'll show you on screen, but some boxes, are full of like the smaller sets that I don't really want to sprinkle throughout all the bigger sets. And some boxes do have some bigger sets in them that just haven't been able to fit on the shelves yet, and probably won't, unfortunately, until I move out. You know what I mean? It's like I don't have the space, unfortunately. I have so many Lego sets now that the shelving space is just run out. There's nothing else I can do about it. As far as I'm concerned, I try to get as many of the newer Lego sets on shelves, and I'm starting to put some more in boxes and try to keep the shelving space kind of clean and not stacked up, if that makes any sense. And Donnie says, what did you think about Phasma's death? I thought it was a little bit weird that Phasma died after so little character development and so much build-up. I thought she was actually going to be a little bit more built up in this movie, and yet again, we only see her for maybe like 2 minutes on screen, you know what I mean? So we don't see her much, and then she dies, which is unfortunate, but I think it's a good death. Just kill off the character. You're not going to do anything with it. You know, move on from that. Let Finn do something else so that we can forget about Phasma. Phasma was a cool character, but she was just never built up. I know there's a book about her, but I don't want to read the book. I want to see it in the movie. This week's question of the week comes from Captain Jellybean, and he says, where do rebels go to eat? The answer, the Admiral Snack Bar. That's a knee slapper. The next question comes from Zach Morgan, and he says, what do you think was the best fight scene in The Last Jedi? I guess there were only a couple fight scenes. We had Finn and Captain Phasma. We had a small one between Rey and Luke. And then, of course, Luke and Kylo Ren. And then, of course, Rey, Kylo Ren, Snoke, and the Praetorian Guards. I think as far as flashiness goes, the Praetorian Guard versus Rey and Kylo Ren scene was pretty darn good. They had a lot of cool little things going on in there with nice little slow-mo and speeding up and slowing down the camera, nice camera angles, nice little lightsaber movements, and really cool tricks going on throughout that entire scene. That's probably my favorite fight scene in the movie. I just absolutely loved what Rey and Kylo Ren did in that scene for that short moment when I also thought Kylo Ren was going to go good with Rey, and then it all collapsed back down to earth. Lewis Lego Film says, what is your least favorite Lego theme? I think my least favorite Lego theme is the Jack Stone theme. I think that was an absolutely terrible idea by Lego. I used to have one of the Jack Stone minifigures, and I think I got it with a toothbrush. It's been probably almost 15 years now, so I don't really remember exactly how I got it, but I used to have one, and God, that was just a terrible Lego theme. It just didn't work. I guess that's probably one of the reasons I think it's terrible, but it just didn't make a lot of sense at the time, and it still doesn't make a lot of sense today. Definitely my least favorite Lego theme. There's probably other themes that are worse out there, but as far as something that just completely doesn't make any sense to me, Jack Stone is it. Darth Tyler says, I went to Toys R Us recently, and they had a terrible selection of Lego. Have you ever seen a Toys R Us with a bad selection of Lego? Well, you said you've been there recently, and I'm assuming that's during the Christmas season, so I'm not surprised that your particular Toys R Us did not have much Lego there. During Christmas is when a lot of the Lego sets are just retiring, so they're not getting any new shipments of the older sets, and they don't quite have the newer sets yet, or they haven't put them out on shelves, so what you see is, you know, there's a lot of people buying the old Lego sets, but they're not getting restocked, and they don't have the newer Lego sets yet, so they just kind of run out, and that's the problem there right up to Christmas. And then after Christmas, of course, all the new sets come out, or just before Christmas a lot of the times the new sets come out, and you can find them at Toys R Us, and that's why your Toys R Us didn't have a lot on the shelves, probably, is because it's Christmas season. That's the simple reason. Now that January's here, they're going to start getting more stock, and things will kind of even out. They'll get a better selection again. Maybe your Toys R Us is closing. I don't obviously know your particular Toys R Us, but if they're closing, that would make sense as well. But I just think it's due to Christmas. I think you see this a lot, especially at, like, my local Target had, like, nothing, essentially. So you definitely do see this a lot right around Christmas, and that's the reason why. Alright, we have a question from I Hate Everything, and he says, what do you do with all the boxes from your sets? All of the boxes from my sets reside up in my closet, essentially. Now, they are starting to leak out. My closet has run out of space, much as my shelves have run out of space, and Lego sets are leaking into boxes. Boxes are leaking off the top shelf of my closet and just completely engulfing it. I'm gonna have to box some up and put them up in the attic. That's what I've done in the past, is I've put boxes in the attic instead of up in my closet like they are now. And, you know, I try to store boxes in boxes as most efficiently as I can, but at some point you just can't do it anymore and you have to move them on. So usually I keep them all, but I do store them in separate places. Wayne Faulkner says, is there a Republic gunship coming out soon, and if so, when? Now, the known answer to this is no. Like, there's no, like, rumor of a Republic gunship. There's no leaked images of a Republic gunship. However, I have reason to believe that maybe we will be getting a Republic gunship. My guess is a Toys R Us exclusive this year. Like, if I had to bet on one thing to be the Toys R Us exclusive this year, like, and I could only bet on one thing, it would be a Republic gunship. And the reasoning behind this, I know it's a very flaky reasoning, is that we had the Tatooine Battle Pack. This Tatooine Battle Pack. And if you'll notice, there's a basically mini version of the Sandcrawler here. And then also back here is a big version of the Sandcrawler. Now, there have also been some leaked images of the April Battle Pack. It's a clone Battle Pack. It's very similar to this, except it comes with Ki-Adi-Mundi and I think Barra Safi or Luminari, I can't remember. Now, we also have leaked images of the April clone Battle Pack that comes with 2 Episode 2 clones, Ki-Adi-Mundi and I think Barra Safi, I can't remember the other Jedi. It's not Coleman Trevor, as the previous leaked images suggested. It's now, I think, Barra Safi. Anyway, guys, that set essentially is going to come with a mini version of a clone gunship in the same way that this is essentially a mini version of the Sandcrawler. I mean, it's got the treads, it's got the same general shape, and, you know, it's a Sandcrawler. Like, it's pretty clear what they were going for when they were designing this part for the battle pack. So what I'm thinking here is we are getting a new Sandcrawler in August. It's going to be like $150 probably. It's a new Sandcrawler. We've seen the pictures. It's happening. We're getting a new Sandcrawler. And we do not have a New Republic gunship. Now, my thinking behind this is that Toys R Us exclusive, going to be about $100, $110. With the way that LEGO has been downsizing things, we're going to get a slightly downsized Republic gunship for a Toys R Us exclusive. It just makes sense to me. Obviously, it's not anything that's set in stone. There's no rumor out this. I don't have any inside information on this. It's just my completely my thoughts here on what is possibly going to happen. Are we going to get a Republic gunship? I mean, obviously, I can't say yes, but I would like to think that if I'm thinking along the same line of thinking they were with this battle pack, and then we're getting the battle pack in April that has the mini Republic gunship, we're getting a big Sandcrawler, why aren't we going to get a big Republic gunship? Obviously, I know that's not something that LEGO does on purpose a lot of times. Sometimes it's just by coincidence, but this is a coincidence that's kind of really good. And then we can also see there could also be a coincidence with the Republic gunship. I don't know, guys. I'm just throwing out words now at this point. Let's go to the next question. Catabellion says, what do you think of the Han Solo anthology sets? Guys, I got a lot of questions about this, so if you guys want to know my thoughts about the new Han Solo leaked sets, check the link in the description below or at the top on the pinned comment, guys. I've done a video on my thoughts of the leaked Han Solo sets, so check out that video for my full thoughts on them. In 2 words, they're pretty good. Brickboy17 says, what is your favorite Star Wars scene ever? And just going back to my memory as a child of watching Star Wars, I think my favorite scene ever is the Battle of Hoth from Star Wars Episode V, The Empire Strikes Back. There's something about that scene that just resonates with me. I absolutely love it. The musical score during it is amazing. I love the battle scene. I love the, you know, giant AT-ATs out in the distance when they zoom in with the binoculars, and then the snow speeders flying through and attacking them, and then eventually getting defeated, and it's really cool. I really like that scene. It's probably my favorite scene from Star Wars ever. Obviously, there's lots of great scenes throughout the Clone Wars animated series and throughout a lot of the other movies now, but I think if I had to pick one, it would be the Battle of Hoth, and obviously, I'm building the Battle of Hoth, so I like it on some level. Cowpot Pie says, hey MNR, do you think you will still be making LEGO videos in 10 years from now? So, if you asked me this 10 years ago, I wouldn't even know what making a LEGO video is, because 10 years ago would be 2008. However, I started making LEGO videos in 2009, so it's almost been 10 years to begin with, which is crazy. So, I think that in 10 years is completely possible that I'll still be making LEGO videos. I'd love to still be making LEGO videos. I think LEGO Star Wars will still be a thing in 10 years. There's no reason for it not to be. It's making Disney tons of money, and of course LEGO would love to keep cashing in on that as well. So there's no reason for LEGO Star Wars not to be a thing. I don't know where I would go if I wasn't doing this, so I really enjoy making LEGO videos, especially LEGO Star Wars centric videos, and I'd like to branch out, so hopefully I'm still doing it in 10 years. Who knows? The next question comes from Star Wars Geek, and he says, what battle pack do you hate? Battle packs that I hate include the 2013 Clone Troopers vs. Droidekas battle pack, for the simple fact that they threw in 2 absolutely terrible looking Droidekas. Another battle pack I hate is the 2015 Senate Commando Troopers battle pack. That one I just didn't like because the minifigures just became too much for me. Like, all those blue Senate Commando Troopers were cool before they came out with the battle pack, and then they were not cool. I know that's not a valid reason to actually hate a set, but it is for me. It's an opinion, so deal with it. And one final battle pack that I hated was the 2015 First Order Trooper battle pack. It was a complete tease. I thought we were going to get some really cool First Order Troopers. However, we basically ended up with an officer, an engineer, an artillery trooper, and just one regular First Order Stormtrooper, and I was just like so disappointed by that, so I don't like that battle pack. It's not an army builder. They're just not army builders anymore, and that's the problem. This is not an army builder. I don't get it. So no one wants an army of Jawas. We want army builders. We want 4 clones in a battle pack, not 2 clones and 2 engineers. You know what I mean? So hopefully LEGO can kind of fix that in a couple years, you know, get some battle packs out there that have 4 of the same figure. That's okay. People want 4 of the same figure. That's the point of a battle pack. Actual Harpy says, do you own the Republic Frigate 7665 Limited Edition? Now, simple answer to that is yes. However, I was rebuilding it because I've had it and I broke it and then I was fixing it. And I'm missing a couple simple pieces that I need to find so that I can finish building it. So it's about half built in a box somewhere. Henry Piper says, best places to look for sets at a cheaper price. Now, my recommendation for this is either Amazon. Amazon a lot of times has some pretty crazy sales. Target.com, Walmart.com, ToysRUs.com, all constantly having stuff on sale. You guys just got to keep an eye on it. Walmart physical stores often have stuff on rollback. Physical Target stores also have stuff go lower prices, and they also have sales a lot for 20% off. Toys R Us is the same thing where they have a 20% off sale every, once every 2 months or so. So keep an eye out on all your stores, your local ads. has, and that's basically the best way to find cheap Legos, to just be vigilant. Know what you're looking for, do your shopping, you know, look around different stores, compare and contrast your prices, wait for a good sale, and then strike while the iron is hot and the price is cheap. Slappy Guy says, what in your opinion is the most underpriced Lego set? Doesn't have to be Star Wars, but it's going to be Star Wars because that's what I like and know the most. So the most underpriced Lego set, and by this I'm going to explain he means that the set that I would pay way more for than I paid for it to begin with. I think I'm going to say the UCS Darth Vader's TIE Advanced, or even the UCS ATST. The UCS Darth Vader's TIE Fighter was $100 and the UCS ATST was only $80, so those were really good deals for some really good UCS sets. Very, very well priced at their time in 2006, and I would honestly have paid even more than they cost back then for them. So I think Darth Vader's TIE Fighter could have fetched $20 more. I think the ATST could have fetched $20 more. However, Lego had some very reasonable prices for those sets, and I really enjoyed them at the prices they were. However, I definitely would have paid more for them too. This week's final question comes from Minecraft, and he says, do you think Lego will ever lose the Star Wars license? Probably not. I don't ever see like a Mega Block Star Wars happening. I think Lego is doing a great job with Star Wars. I don't know why Disney would ever take it away from them. I think they're making amazing products. It's making a ton of money for both companies. I think it's working really well, and there's no reason for Lego and Star Wars / Disney / Lucasfilm to ever really part ways. It's such a great relationship. It's working so well, and there's no reason for it to really ever stop as long as it's making money. So I think it's doing great. I think they're making great products, and they're making a lot of money doing so. And that is all for this week's Ask MandRproductions, guys. If you did enjoy, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And if you have anything to say, if you have a question that you want answered for next week on Ask MandRproductions, leave in the comment section below, guys. I'll be reading through and picking out questions for next week's episode soon. Thank you all for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.